Thank you, God, that we have the first game.
Even brings word to it is that we're coming back to meet one of our long lost friends, South Africa. You know, it's
Game,
Mexico.
bro. That last game, what's his name? I don't know. Shabalala freaking
Yeah.
scoring that banger. Bro, I want to see fucking Kilmora score a banger. First game. Just outside the box, upper 90. Give it to me, man. That'd be so crazy. The world is watching the 17-year-old breakout. That'd be absolutely crazy, dude. Welcome to the first official episode of No Era Penal podcast with pak777. I have my cousin here, Alan Arceo. Alan, say hi to the people.
What's up, guys?
So starting this podcast, I actually recorded an episode by myself. I don't think I told you, just to kind of see how it would flow. And I realized like I need to talk to somebody. So I thought about who would be the best person I can bring on to talk about El Tri and the Mexican national team, who's as passionate as I am, because some people don't really touch the level I am, and I thought it was you. So yeah, this is my cousin Alan. Out of the 150 cousins that I have, I chose you, so you should be honored. Man, there's so much chaos going on in these last few days, especially yesterday with the World Cup camp officially starting today. Or was it? It started yesterday, last night, with the dinner, whatever they had. Did you see that?
Yes, I did.
That was fucking... It was so stressful. As a Chivas fan, it made it even more stressful. So we're going to start right off. Our first topic is the World Cup camp roster and the drama that led it to what it was yesterday in regards to the dilemma between Chivas and the Federation. Oh my God, my camera's messing up. Hold on. I don't know why it's... I'll edit that out. Whatever. In regards to the back and forth. So Toluca had a game against LAFC. I don't know if you watched that game where they won or whatever. They didn't even need the players. Toluca started the drama because they had requested for Alexis Vega and Jesus Gallardo to go back to the team to play LAFC. So then Amaury Vergara, the Chivas owner, was pissed. And he was like, hey, I'm also going to bring back all the Chivas players that are in the camp. Hormiga, who else was there? Brian Gutierrez and Alvarado, right? So they were going back. And then the Federation released, these players aren't at camp by like 8 p.m. tonight. They're not going to the World Cup. And it was so clear, like you can see, you would think like maybe it was just the media playing what it was too much. But then at the end of the day, it was clear. Like the Federation released that statement and they were pissed. They wanted their players back. They had to be at camp, right? So my thought, what's your whole thought process on this? Because to me, it's a bunch of drama that who's more in the wrong? Is it the Chivas owner or is it the Mexican?
No. Chivas, I would not say Chivas is in the wrong at all, because let's just think. What if Chivas didn't make it a big deal? Would Toluca still have their players now? Would they have played that game?
Probably.
You know what I mean? Would they have played the game? None of this would have been brought to light. And I don't think it's fair. I mean, we're Chivas fans, of course, but like, even in general, like, if this doesn't get brought up and Toluca plays with their players, but then you're talking about Chivas, who is a team that has been doing outstanding this season.
Yeah, but then they lost 3-1. So now Amaury Vergara is like, fuck, we need him back, right? Yeah, I think that's what happened.
You can't take away your, like, for example, European soccer.
Yeah.
We had a Champions League, we had Harry Kane play, we have Griezmann play. We have all these European teams that haven't pulled their players out. So why should the Mexican teams just pull their players out? We're going against, we're trying to
it makes
that has never worked for the Europeans. Don't do it. Well, we could say have a better soccer. You know, they have really dynamic, very, like, good teams.
It brings me back to like, maybe I don't know what their thought process in this was. Like I heard Javier Aguirre's little press conference, and he talked about them Australia and Uzbekistan were the only nations that started their World Cup camp roster today or yesterday, and it makes me think like, okay, he's saying it out of glow. Like, who cares? It's fucking Uzbekistan and
Yeah,
Australia. You know, it's
exactly.
not France. It's not Spain. It's not Germany. Like, no, nobody's doing this.
We're talking about Harry Kane, potentially a Ballon d'Or winner,
Yeah.
playing World Cup, and he's playing in a Champions League game. Like, if these European teams that
Are
are
the,
the favorite to win the World Cup aren't doing it, what makes you think that pulling out Mexicans out of the Liga MX is gonna change something?
I also think like maybe playing that, letting them play for like, what does it matter? You let the Chivas players stay and play that next game against Tigres, right? And then if they don't make it through, okay, then they can join the World Camp roster. But they have friendlies coming up. They have I wrote it down here. Let's see. They have on May 22nd they have Ghana. On May 30th they have Australia, and on June 4th they have Serbia. I mean, they could have still come up with I don't know how many players they took to camp, but couldn't that May 22nd game, they would have still probably been back. I don't know. It's just so dumb and frustrating. Like, it's such childish games, and at
And
the same
I feel
time,
like
like, go ahead.
all this could have been prevented, like by, let's say, we knew the World Cup was coming years ago. We knew it was going
Yeah,
to be in Mexico. We knew all this. Why not? Like a couple years ago when this happened, they moved the Liga MX and they played 2 games in 1 week instead of just one. You know, and they've done
yeah,
it this season. They still do it. But I mean, why not do it more often? Because knowing that these top players from Liga MX that are going to be leaving for the World Cup are going to leave their teams, and like Chivas, like Toluca, who are these teams that are more favored to win the Liga MX, they're gonna lose their players. Why not work around it? Like they force so much in a way where they create a mess like they did yesterday, as we've
yeah.
seen on social media. When
They could
if
they
they
could
would have
have
thought ahead,
they could have had more like of the teams that didn't make the Liguilla. They could have had more players join the World Cup camp roster as camp bodies as well, in my opinion. Because like, and let those players play in the Liga MX. Because at the end of the day, if they're playing in the Liga MX in Liguilla, they're playing pretty good football, right? And I think they would have gone into the World Cup way better having played those games and having those caps. I guess they're scared of injury, right? They're scared of a player getting injured, but they can get injured at camp too, right? Like the same thing,
obviously.
training. You can get injured in training, so it makes absolutely no fucking sense to me. But I guess it was a mess. I guess you feel the same way as I do. Um,
I just
in
don't think it's fair.
Yeah,
I really don't think it's fair.
it's not fair for the Mexican league teams for sure,
No,
right? Because
at
Chivas
all.
had one of the best seasons of all, like in a long time. Me and you have
Yeah.
seen, and now we're fucking screwed because running out of time. I might have to fix this. Whatever. If it cuts, we'll just do it over. Yeah. So Chivas had one of the best runs they had in a while, and now it's just cut into pieces because we lost, probably our best striker in years ever since
Alan
Chicharito.
Pulido or Alan Pulido.
Yeah. I think back to Chicharito because even with Chicharito, I remember we were doing so well with Chivas, and then he's just leaving the. I don't know if was that in the middle of the season when Chicharito left to Man U. It might have been. I remember them doing
Yeah.
so well, and then when it came to like the playoffs again, they lost Chicharito. So it kind of sucks. But I just want to move on to the World Cup camp roster. In regards to the players they brought, is there anybody who stands out to you that they missed, or what? Would you have that World Cup camp roster on you?
Yeah, I do. Like I've been saying, um, I think most of these players are, the better players that we do have in the Liguilla. I mean, I don't really see nothing
I mean, the
that's
big the
like,
big one is you're a Chivas fan, so Richie Ledesma not going. I think that sucks. I just heard something that they you know they don't rule them out yet. So later on they could call him up. Uh, but not having the best right back, the best right back in the Liga MX play for the Mexican national team would really suck, in my opinion. The other one is Marcel Ruiz. That was the one big one that shot in my heart that he's not going, and I get it. Maybe if he plays with Toluca, you'll see he gets that rhythm back, and then Aguirre at the end calls him up. Maybe, I don't know. Hopefully,
I, it's possible, but I just don't see him calling a lot of these players up because what we've seen, I have seen and what I have noticed from his personality or whatever. Whatever he says goes. If he says this, that's what's gonna stay and that's what's gonna go. And I hope it's not that way, but I mean,
I hope. I mean, I could still see a glimmer of light. Especially there was an insider that reported that don't rule them out yet. So we'll see. But the other one was him not taking Charlie Rodriguez, which kind of how do you say, it challenges what you just said, right? Because we would think like whatever he says goes, and like with Roberto Alvarado, calling Roberto Alvarado up, that's like his player, right? Like we don't want to see him there, but that's his player, so he's gonna. But then on the other side, you see Charlie Rodriguez, and he doesn't call Charlie Rodriguez up. So how do you feel about finally not taking Charlie Rodriguez to the World Cup?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's some people may hate him, some people may like him. He's a player that he's good. Don't get me wrong, and he performs, in certain spotlights where you say maybe he is a
but he performs more for Cruz Azul than Mexico, because on Mexico, you've seen his stats, right? He does nothing for Mexico.
He's very inconsistent. He's an inconsistent player,
I don't think he has any consistency with the Mexican national team.
No, it's very inconsistent, very, very inconsistent. So it's like, can you count on him when it comes down to it?
No, I mean, I can't even. And I think the midfield is probably our strongest position here, for the Mexican national team, and we haven't said that in a while. So like, even if there's so many great players in that midfield that not bringing him is awesome. So we can finally bring all these guys in, like Brian Gutierrez, right, from Chivas, which is fucking awesome.
Which I think he's good. Don't get me wrong. I love him. Yeah, I think he's very good. But what scares me is his size and his maturity to playing against these European teams that are, because these European teams are very physical. Brian Gutierrez, he's skinny, man. Let's be honest, man. He's not the biggest person,
Yeah. See,
so how is he going to react to playing against these European teams that are very physical, very on the ball, they react?
Yeah, I think that's why Javier Aguirre is going to have to really be very tactical in who he starts in what game, right? Like maybe that second game they play in Omi Life against South Korea, right? So like that's Chivas home stadium. That I can see them playing. I can see them playing like Chivas players. Like, what if we start Brian Gutierrez in that second game against South Korea because he's familiar with the field?
I wouldn't be against that, because I think South Korea is not the most physical team. I think they are a more technical team than anything.
They are fast, though. But yeah.
But I mean, if you say I'm starting Brian Gutierrez versus South Africa, I'd be like, there's no way he survives in that. You know what I mean?
I never even thought about it that way, to be honest. Against the South, yeah, okay. The other one is Hormiga. I can see Hormiga. What if he starts Hormiga in that second game against South Korea? You know what I mean? In Omi Life, where he scores all his goals.
Here's the thing about Hormiga. I think right now, I think he's the best striker in the Liga.
Yeah.
I think so.
I agree.
And people are going to say, I've had conversations about this with different people, and they have said, no, this person's better. This person's better. So at the end of the day, you're a striker. When a striker gets the ball, they don't look back and pass it back to the center back, or center mid. Their goal is to score. I don't care if you scored 15 goals, PKs. I don't care. You're a striker. Your goal is to score. Your priority is to get the ball in the net. I don't care how you do it.
Yeah.
For Holland, for example, he scores all his goals, tap-ins, and PKs. But he is.
I wouldn't say he scores all his goals, tap-ins, and PKs, but I get what you're saying. I still think, because the striker position for Mexico, who it really, I am a guy who's like, whoever's playing best, I don't care. I would rate Liga MX high. I don't care if it's against the Europeans, like, you know, Santi Jimenez, who's been injured and hasn't played in so long, right? Like, I would still put Hormiga over Santi Jimenez. I don't know how you feel about that, but I personally would. Unless, you know, we got Santi Jimenez starting this weekend against for AC Milan. They're reporting that he's going to start. So I guess if he turns, maybe he scores a goal there and he starts playing well, would you start?
He needs to show something before these games because he's been injured. You know,
Yeah,
we haven't seen him. You know, so we don't know how he's going to come back. So right now, you have to go with what's best for the team and not just take a wild guess and say he has produced for us in the past and I'm going to go for him now. You could say that if he wasn't injured, but he's coming back from a really long injury, haven't played. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I'd go with the safer bet and play Barmuda up there. Just
Yeah, like above. Obviously, Raul Jimenez is starting, but
yeah,
yeah.
obviously.
But I mean, even the rumors before were like, oh, Hormiga's not going to go to the World Cup, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, he's there. He's going to go. It makes me really happy. But continuing on this World Cup camp roster spot, I mean, that was one of my big ones that he's there. That just kind of solidified everything. We talked about Brian Gutierrez a little bit. The other striker that we haven't talked about is El Bebote Martinez. That caught me completely off guard. I don't know why he brought him up. But you were talking about the physicality against these European teams, and maybe that's why he's the only reason I can think of is he's tall. But I don't know how you feel about that.
It's
You
just
know?
not a. I just I hate. I'm not gonna say I hate, but are players that are not that are not technical. You know, I don't really like them. I mean, I guess you could say because I since I played in Europe and I know how these European players and these European coaches love to coach. I look more at the technical ability of a player. You know,
Yeah.
if you're physical and you're on the
Yeah.
ball, but you're not technically your technical ability is not there to be consistent. It's I mean I don't know. I'd get more mad at if you can't make a from here to there pass than if you can't make a through ball one on one with the keeper. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Uh, I guess I mean the only thing I can think of is say we're like we only got a minute here and then we're gonna have to restart. But let me finish this thought process. Is the only thing I can think of is like say we're winning 3-1 or something, and the other team's got or 2-1, and the other team's got these tall players, right? He's tall enough
Yeah,
to where you can bring him on, and he can offer that help in the corners and defend. Like,
yeah. And he's
I,
like one of those players that could take on a yellow and you don't really have
yeah,
to worry about it for the next game. You know what I mean?
yeah. That's the only thing I can see as any thought process because I would have rather brought fucking Henry Martin, right?
Yeah,
More of a veteran presence.
yeah. I get
He
that.
can be a leader. Um, yeah. So that's the only silver lining I see in the Bebote Martinez thing. All right, we're back. I'm sorry, I'm not paying for fucking Zoom Pro. We're gonna just have to start. We just had to reset real quick. But leaving off on our World Cup camp roster, I don't know if we talked about the friendlies they're gonna play. I want to go back to that. May 22nd, Ghana. I feel like May 22nd is still too early to the where I don't know when the Premier League and all the leagues around the world end. So I don't think we'll see the Europeans really join the Mexican till right after that game or around that game. So I still think that with this roster, the camp roster that we have now with the Mexican League players and then all those little asterisks with the fill-ins, players that are just camp bodies, they're going to have a starting 11 based off that team alone, and that's who plays Ghana. So I'm not really worried about that Ghana game. Now, going into Australia, that's where we can see on May 30th, Mexico plays Australia. That's where we can see the players rejoin the camp, their European players join the camp, I'm sorry, and really start to see them play and how this team's going to take shape, right? And then that June 4th game against Serbia is massive, right? They have to leave that with a win. They have to leave stamping a statement. Um, Playing at home. I don't know where they're playing and with Serbia. I think that game might be in Toluca, right? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean,
I think it's in Toluca. But yeah, but again, that final game is so important. I don't know how you feel about like when you were playing for your, in whatever pro league you were playing in. When you were playing there, obviously it's important to finish off before you start the tourney. You want to get right with your team, right? It's important to build that chemistry. So it's going to be weird seeing the Liga MX players be in the camp for so long and then just the European players join. I just don't like that whole system. It's so dumb. I think everybody should have joined at the same time.
Yes,
It makes no
100%.
sense to me. Um, Also, does that influence his starting 11 for the final, like for the World Cup?
I don't think it should. I don't think it should at all. Like it'd be stupid as a coach for him to, because you're gonna put in all these fill-ins, like you said, that you're gonna have be playing with maybe some players that are or should or are going to be your starting in your starting lineup, and then you're gonna pull out a whole bunch of players that fill them in with the players that you're actually gonna put. It's just gonna mess up the whole rhythm of things of how these players got
Yeah,
used
I
to
don't know.
playing with these other teams.
Is
And
that? I wonder if that's how that works, right? Like when the European players come, do the fill-ins leave,
I mean, I don't see another way. With,
or do they
see,
stay there as like sparring partners?
I don't know. Which
I think that would also like risk injury, so I probably wouldn't. I think it works the way you said, like where the European players come in and the extra camp bodies leave. I
yeah.
That would be probably the most logical. Um, who knows? But talking about that, I want to go right into expectations about players that we brought. Your expectations for the World Cup overall, starting with players like Gil Mora, right? 17-year-old Gil Mora, bro.
Excites me.
I
Absolute
know,
cinema.
I know.
I think
Bro. If he scores a fucking, not even a goal, if he scores a goal, that's gonna be insane.
I think he's the best player that we Mexico has had. Spain has Lamine. The world has Lamine Yamal. We have Gabriel.
Yeah, a
You know what
hundred
I mean?
percent, a hundred
And
percent.
that is our little sparkle of light that we prey upon. That Mexico don't fuck this up. Don't
Uh,
fuck this up.
I know,
Like
for the love of God, because oh man, he even if he gets an assist like first game, that would be insane. Like I even friends that are not of the Mexican national team ask me like, oh, how do you know? I'd have conversations with them. I'm always like, yo, watch Gil Mora, son. Like the hype for him coming into the World Cup is going to be so insane. And like me and
it's
you,
also scary. It's scary. It's really scary on how the federation's gonna handle him.
yeah,
You
100%.
know, it's
Like
scary.
where does he go after Europe, right? I mean, after the World Cup, where in
Yeah,
Europe does he go? Um,
even if he goes to Europe, because that's what I'm saying. It's like Mexico, don't fuck this up, because we've had so many great players that have had a potential to go to Europe, and nothing happens. You know, it ruins so much potential. I feel like, and that's what makes him like so special and so scary, because I think he is one of the best prodigies that has come out of Mexico at such a young age.
yeah, because when you look back at like all these games Mexico's played in the World Cups and stuff, it's always like either counter-attacking or it's we're going down the wing with fucking Roberto Alvarado and just trying to cross it in. And it's just all these crosses, right? We're crossing and crossing, never down the middle. And that's where I think Rafa Marquez comes in and his tactical, like tiki taka right down the middle, run it down their freaking face, right in the middle of the field, rather than going down the wing is awesome because now you have Gilberto Mora. You also have guys like Atletico Madrid's, what's his name? He also excites me.
Um,
What's his name? He's from Alaska too, which is insane. Like I've never seen a player from Alaska. Obed Vargas, I'm sorry,
yeah,
his name was fading me.
yes.
So like I just saw him play for Atletico Madrid. I thought that was pretty dope. Yeah, that's like
I
Diego
like
Simeone is
him.
confiding in him.
I like him because he's quick off the ball.
Yeah,
That's, you know what I mean. I think Mexico needs to part their ways with this, comeback, switch from left to right, and then the long ball over. I think we need to, maybe the touchback is okay, but
play down the middle with
yes, and
them.
it's like these players like Gilberto Mora, Vargas, they all are quick off the ball. They all react. They are. I'll come back to it. Their technical ability is to a point where they can react to the right pass, like this, and it's not. They get scared, and we need to stop holding the ball so much because Mexico does that a lot.
Yeah, 100%. And they're never like finished, right? Like it's just
Then it's
they
never
win the possession game, which is great.
it's a 15-minute possession game, but what does the 15 minutes of
Yeah,
possession lead to? It leads to nothing at the end of the day.
exactly. And he excites me because he brings just he's not scared to ask for the ball, which is cool. Like I saw him with Atletico Madrid. Yeah, he messed up a bit, but he's young and he's learning. And he again that I rather a player get ask for the ball, create chances, mess up one or two times. But you see that in the best players in the world, right? Like I'm a huge Man U fan, and I watch Bruno Fernandes have the best games and look like a Ballon d'Or winner, and then I watch him sometimes just complete the worst pass I've ever seen in my life trying to, but it was, you saw what the intent was. So with Abed Vargas, I feel like that's there. You kind of see what the intent is, and he's kind of trying to create. And I feel like Mexico needs that really badly. And with him and Gil Mora, like that's so sick. Like a year ago, we were crying, bro. Like nobody in the midfield, and now look at this. Like me and you were at the Gold Cup final recently at NRG Stadium.
Bring up.
Yeah, we were at the Gold Cup final at Energy Stadium. Like obviously that's where it all started with Marcel Ruiz, which oh man, that stings so much. Like not bringing him. I hope he balls out with Toluca and they just call him up for some reason. But Gil Mora, that Gold Cup, the best player in my opinion. Just a different breath of fresh air, dude. Like
he brings you like even like I said, like you said when you were sitting there watching him, he brought you excitement every single time he got the ball.
yeah, 100%. Like a personality, right? He provides a personality to the team. Man, that game was awesome. Speaking of that game, like I've been to so many Mexico games in my life. I think I've been to more Mexico games than I have Jets games, and the Jets MetLife Stadium is like 15 minutes away from my house. So that's crazy. Like I remember my first game ever, Mexico game ever. Mexico was playing Peru at Giants Stadium. It wasn't MetLife at the time, it was Giants Stadium. And they knocked that down to become MetLife. But anyways, I was watching my first game at Giants Stadium. Cuauhtemoc Blanco, Mexico lost 3-1. Cuauhtemoc Blanco got a red card that game because the Peruvian player, whoever, I think it was their captain, blew a kiss at his face. I don't know if you remember that. You're probably too young.
I was young, but I do remember that game.
Yeah. He blew a kiss to his face, and then it was like a free kick, and Cuauhtemoc Blanco elbowed the shit out of him in his face or something, and got the red card. But yeah, I was literally behind the net at that game when Cuauhtemoc Blanco got that red card, bro. Elbowed him. I saw that. I'm like, yo, ref didn't see nothing. He was right there. He saw everything, bro. Yeah, and then after that, I've been to so many Gold Cup finals. I've been to Vegas when they lost to the US. Bro, I've never been so sad. I walked out of that stadium feeling so freaking sad. So I think that was the last Gold Cup match I went to before the NRG game against the US recently. So finally going back to winning a Gold Cup, it made this one feel a lot better, or I felt more emotion. I saw you were like literally in tears because I think this was that your first game ever?
No, it's not my first game ever.
For Mexican national team?
No, I've been to a handful of Mexican national teams, and it's a.
But you never been to like a final though, right?
No, yeah, no, never been to a final. But I guess the emotions probably come from, being it being a final. The emotions come from out of some. I'll say it, and you might think I'm crazy. This is a sport. This is a game that I live and breathe. And at a certain point in my life, I thought that I was going to do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
There's a certain point. I was 17 years old in Europe, and I said, this is my life for the rest of my life, and I get butterflies. This is a sport that I trained my whole life for. Put blood, sweat, tears, and it's like even going to any game. It's a different feeling. The World Cup, any soccer game, is a different feeling when you go there and you see the perfect grass. The nets are set up nice. The atmosphere. We're here to watch this team. It's a different, different aroma. You get a different it smells different, it feels different. You know,
Yeah,
it's
I get that. And like the even like leading up to the game, everything outside and the you're when we're in there, the guy next to us was from Guadalajara. You remember him? The
yes, I
dude who
do.
was next to us from Guadalajara, bro. Man, it was fun talking to him. But like just being in that environment with everybody who kind of if you're paying that money for the ticket, right? You love this team. So being in a unit with everybody kind of who has the same passion for the sport is kind of is sick, like in especially in that environment, because you don't get that in these smaller games. You get these people who are paying 30-40 bucks for a ticket, and they're bringing their sons, their kids, their so it's not the same environment as the final, because in the final is more expensive, so that price, they're not bringing their kids, they're not, some of them are, but the kids
Yeah,
are passionate, right? They're not bringing their wives, or they're not bringing, they're only bringing, everybody who's there is there because they love the national team.
yes, and that's what I love so much about the World Cup is that it brings that feeling every game, no
Game
matter if it's the final or the first freaking game
a
of the
hundred
World Cup.
percent
It brings that same feeling of, this is more than just a soccer. You have that feeling. I could be watching a team that I don't watch play, but it brings that feeling
Yeah,
to
I'll be
that game.
watching like that World Cup game against, especially the world. I'll be watching like a Uzbekistan playing, and there will be
Yeah.
such an underdog, and I'll be like, "Come on," like rooting
It's
for them
it's
and
like
shit.
it's like I'm going to the Miami Colombia game or the
Oh, you
Portugal
are?
Colombia game, and
Oh
I
my
don't have
god,
tickets, but you just imagine how the atmosphere is gonna be in Miami, you know, Colombia, Portugal.
Colombians in general are there are
Even
just
just to
gonna go
go,
wild.
it's
Yeah, that's why I can't wait to go to Mexico City, man. Book it. We already got our tickets. We're going to Mexico City. You're still trying to get game tickets, but
yeah.
I pulled the trigger on tickets for the game. And that atmosphere, I think the moment I step a foot in that stadium, I'm probably gonna shed a tear in my eye. But yeah, let's get back
But
to
it's like,
Mexico, bro. Come on,
yeah,
because we're going on a tangent here. Um, so we talked about the Mexican camp roster. The other thing I want to talk about is the goalkeeper debate, because this one scares me. I think it's
it's
our weakest point on this roster is the goalkeeper. Um, I'm flatting out. I'm gonna flat out say it. I think we're gonna start Ochoa. I don't think he has. I mean, if you look back, he started Conejo Perez in what, '06. So like, what's the difference?
well, I mean,
Ochoa is playing in Cyprus, or God knows where that is. I don't even know if he played a single game. But they got to get him to camp. He's got to join these Liga MX players right now, bro, and like get in shape. Because
yeah, like
do you? I know
fast.
again. We're Chivas fans, so do you believe in Tala Rangel behind the sticks?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I do. I mean, who else do we have? Are we going to choose, Ochoa over Tala, who's, you know, proven himself other than the Tigres loss?
Yeah, but he's proven himself in the Mexican league, because with the Mexican national team, he's only had 11 starts. The next person up was Malagon, right? And Malagon had, if I'm looking here, he had 19 starts. So I was comfortable going into the World Cup starting Malagon game one. And now that we have Talarangel, I'm not like 100%. Yeah, I'm a Chivas fan. I'm not 100% confident in Rangel starting, bro. I am not. I think we have to get Ochoa in shape, because Ochoa, he seems to go Super Saiyan in these World Cups. He like
Yeah,
just
I don't know.
he
It's just
just
I don't know what he does. I don't.
goes on a
It's
ayahuasca trip, and
unspeakable.
then yeah, it's incredible. Like I don't care. He's 40, I think, right? And I think it's Tala Rangel all the way. I really do. Uh,
I don't see.
yeah, that's because like Carlos Acevedo is not going to get any burn. Um, so the only real option is Tala Rangel or Ochoa. Um, but yeah, that's the worst part of the Mexican national team right now is the goalkeeper position. Doesn't make me feel too confident in that. Now let's move on from that to the round of 16 predictions. I've been seeing this all over TikTok. I don't know if you've been seeing this, but
I have. It's
did you see the one with England? Like people are saying like, oh, I think it was Fútbol Asada. I follow them. They were talking about Mexico potentially facing England at the Azteca in the round of 16.
See, this is the round of 16 is not a game we win because we're fucking good at the game. The round of 16 is a game we win because we're playing at the Azteca
Yeah.
in Mexico. It's more of a game we win off of hopes, I think, and that's just me being real. I mean, we haven't seen how they play and how they are going to play, but I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it's England, you know.
Yeah, like I think it really like how Mexico gets there is gonna be how I feel about the game.
Exactly,
Right?
100%.
We obviously can't have lost any games. You know, my path to the round of 16 game is beating South Africa, tying South Korea. Who do we play last? Czech, and beating Czech Republic. Right? And then you go into playing in the round of 32, you go in playing the best third place team, whoever that is, and you have to beat them. And also, if they do go in first through the group, all their playoff games are where? At the Azteca.
It's the biggest advantage that Mexico's ever had.
Right? The altitude, everything. I think we have one of the most absurd records. I'm sure everybody's heard this, the crazy record that Mexico has at the Azteca. So, like, I've never been more excited for a World Cup in my life. I am 30 years old. I've seen, I don't know, you divide that by 4 and how many World Cups I've seen. So, the last few World Cups have been a pain in my ass, right? Even the one where they're saying it was one of the greatest wins of all time against Germany. It was a group stage game. I get it. It might be, but what simmered it down a little bit was Germany lost to South Korea too. So they
like
were it took it down a little bit for me. But in general, like I haven't been this excited for a Mexican national team in my life to go to a World Cup. Yeah, so having it at home is insane, right?
My mom's trying to get me to do all these, summer classes and do a whole bunch of summer. I said, Mom,
not this.
It's a World Cup summer.
Yeah, 100%, dude.
I'm not
no shot, bro. I mean, it's an extended format too, so the amount of games that are going to be played is insane. 3 host nations. I want to get into this debate, right? U.S. I know you hate the U.S. I do too.
I just don't think they have. I just don't think they're passionate for the sport. I mean,
there is passionate fans. They're just not. They're
Miami. Okay,
they're not as. There's not as passionate. I get it. We're both Mexican American. We chose Mexico because we saw the passion there more, right? I think our raised by our parents more in that Mexican tradition. I mean, you have the freaking Virgen de Guadalupe behind you, so we obviously chose Mexico because I feel more. Ever since I was younger, when I was younger, the U.S. national team was nothing. Like, it was nothing. And finally, now you're starting to see them. In my opinion, they have probably better players than Mexico, but they have, in my opinion, what is the worst coach they could possibly have going into this World Cup. And it's not, that's a bad way to put it. They have a coach, they're like us going into the World Cup last year with who was our coach last year, whatever. They're like us going into the World Cup last year where tactically and we were so such a mess is the right word. The US, yeah, the US national team right now is a freaking mess. But we're going on a tangent again. Coming back to the debate, the USA, Mexico, and Canada are hosting this event, right? Out of those 3 nations, who do you think does the best? I already know your answer. I'm gonna try to play devil's advocate a little bit. Who do you think does the best?
Let's see here.
The US.
I think USA has a good World Cup because of the group they're in. I don't see them.
Who's in their group? I don't remember who their group.
Paraguay, Australia, and then I forgot the third team.
But, they do have a really easy group. Holy crap! I would have to see who the path is at the end. But you think so? You're saying the U.S. does better than Mexico in this World Cup?
I mean, like you said, I have to see the direct path like that. But I mean, just giving off the group stage. I mean, or
You think I think
Paraguay,
you think
Australia,
they have? I think they also have a really tough opponent, do they not?
oh, Canada,
No, the U.S.
Australia, Paraguay, and I'm not sure on
Can you
their.
bring that up for me? I'll look it up. USA's
Let's
World
see.
Cup group. Um,
No,
USA's World Cup group. Let's see.
Turkey.
Oh, Turkey.
I
Yeah, they don't
don't.
beat Turkey. They do
You
not
know,
beat Turkey.
like,
Ah, man, I have Turkey as one of my dark horses. Um, yeah. So I, I can see Mexico definitely having the better tournament. They have the field advantage.
and for
Canada is
Canada,
a mess, bro. Their injuries are piling on. Jesse Marsh is not as good as I thought he would
I
be with
don't.
that team.
I don't think they beat Qatar. I don't think they beat Switzerland, and I
I
think you know,
I was looking at their group actually, and I think every game's a 50-50 with them, right? They either win or lose. Or
I mean, we
it's
got Canada tying to Curacao, or
that's crazy.
you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
I going back to the US, I think tactically they're just not there. They're trying to be a possession based or like a dominating the game type of team, and it's not working against the bigger clubs. It might work against the smaller clubs, right? Um, does it work against Paraguay? Maybe. That's going to be an insane game. I would book it to be like a thriller, the U.S. versus Paraguay, like a 3-2 they come out winning, maybe, or like a 3-2 they come out losing, or
But yet
like
again, the reason I don't think USA has such like a better World Cup is because if you could go on social media and look at this, go and look at their main players, go and look at their attitude towards interviews when they talk about the World Cup. Their attitude is, you know, it's not there. It doesn't sound like they're very, excited for
maybe
it. It's
they're
just
maybe what you're trying to say is there's not a passion for it as much as it's like the Mexicans towards the Mexican national team or like Brazilians towards the Brazilian national team. Like there isn't a passion to play for the U.S. as much. Maybe I don't know. I don't really want to say that to be honest with you. But I get what you're coming from. The attitude towards that team is like even with the prior Gold Cup, right? There was a lot of players that just didn't want to go.
it's so neutral, when it's
Yeah,
like I feel
yeah,
like any player doesn't matter the national team. I feel like you should be proud to go and play for your country. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It doesn't matter what's going on in politics, what's going on in this.
yeah,
You're playing for the World Cup. You know what I mean? It shouldn't affect you and your career. You know what I mean?
yeah. Because the U.S. is really uh, like out of all these three, I will say I think Mexico is going to have the better tournament. Canada with Jesse Marsh. I'm a huge Red Bulls fan, so I was a big Jesse Marsh fan. I actually thought the U.S. was going to get Jesse Marsh as their head coach, but obviously that didn't work out. So having Jesse Marsh in Canada, I just feel like that's not the job for him. He chose terrible paths, going to Leeds, having a terrible time at Leeds. He had a decent run and then just terrible time. And now going to Canada, he just definitely made the wrong choices. I still think he's a good coach. I just don't think that like Canada has some great players and they had a golden generation and it was just gone to waste. Same thing with like team like Jamaica, right? They have all these great talent and they just don't choose the right coach. And I think if you're like the Mexican national team for us, the best coaches generally are Mexican for the team, right? Like I think you have to have if you're the US, you should have an American. I think they were better under Berhalter than Pochettino. I think Canada would have been better under God knows who, some Canadian coach that's probably knows the team better than anybody else. And I think the U.S. would have been better going into this World Cup with a guy like Jesse Marsh. You know, um, as an American, bring him back, and who knows? Maybe we'll see them bring him in the next go around. Because I don't think Pochettino lasts after this World Cup. I think they cut him after this World Cup. unless he makes some round of 16 run or further. Um, I think one knockout game. If he wins one knockout game, maybe, but I'd still cut him. I don't think the U.S. is living up to their potential, and they have all these great players coming up and so much European talent. It's insane, man.
That's what I'm saying. There's nothing against the US and nothing against their players. Like the point is like USA has the players. They just the extra step of these players producing because you know you could do it. We know they could produce because we see them all the time. They play
Yeah.
all these European. They just when it comes to playing for the national team, it's just like every player's checked out. You know, they don't want to be there. You know, they don't play how they usually play.
Yeah. Um, so much is going on. There's so much shit that I'm forgetting. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I think we've covered a lot. The other thing I wanted to get into was the whole world. I see so much World Cup slander. It's insane right now. I don't know if you see it on your feed, but like Forbes just dropped an article about like all the hotels around the area are complaining that the World Cup is not living up to the hype. And I could see where they're coming from, but there's also like over 1,000 hotels in this area alone here next to MetLife, and MetLife has like a lot of these round of 16 round like the final. They probably have a game in the semifinal. I don't know, but like those knockout games, I feel like nobody buys a ticket till they realize if their team is making it there, right? So like nobody's really booked the World Cup tickets yet. I feel like the World Cup hype hasn't really started, and I think it's coming, but it hasn't started. So everybody's giving the slander like, oh, World Cup ticket prices are crazy. Nobody's buying them. Yet I can't get a fucking ticket to a Mexico game, you know? Um, I just don't like the negativity surrounding it. There is issues like NJ Transit here, the train system. They're raising their tickets to $200 for like to get to the stadium, which is crazy. I get that. That's completely dumb. But like if I were to go to MetLife, I would just like if you're in the city, just take an Uber over the freaking over the bridge at this point, as close as you can get to MetLife, and then walk it, right? You're going to the World Cup final. So
You
like
know, if you get in a mile radius, it's gonna be, you're not
yeah.
gonna feel that mile. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, you already paid. If you're going to the World Cup final, you're going to the World Cup, you've paid a lot of money. So, I mean, I guess what's $200 to you? But I mean, I wouldn't pay those $200 personally. But yeah, the slander going on, the Forbes article that just came out today. It's all, again, we're running out of time, so I want to try to finish this up. Yeah, that the slander's insane, bro. I'm tired of it. I feel like once June rolls around and the World Cup hype starts, it's gonna be like a whole another like all these, you got all these viewing parties. I think Mexico's gonna highlight the World Cup. Like you're gonna see the fans in Mexico and you're gonna feel it, right? Then you're gonna switch over to the US. Certain areas you might be like, wow, they freaking half the Kansas City stadium is empty. Because the tickets for a game that nobody wants to see are like $1,000, right? Or not that nobody wants to see them. People want to see them, but they're not paying $1,000 to go see. I don't know who's playing there, like freaking Haiti and God knows who. Right? Those games were not selling. But yeah, I think Mexico highlights the World Cup in general. God, thank you, God, that we have the first game. I think that was huge. I think it was intentional for a reason. Because if you had the opening game in the US or Canada, do you think it has that same hype as in the Azteca? Right? There's no way.
And I think it's what even brings more to it is that we're coming back to meet one of our long lost friends, South Africa.
I know. It's a revenge game, man.
Yeah. So like I think it adds just more hype to just that game. If it would have been like Korea, I mean it's okay, we get the first game, but
Yeah.
then we get South Africa.
I know. It's a revenge game, bro. That last game, what's his name? I don't know. Shabalala freaking scoring that banger. Bro, I want to see fucking Kilmora score a banger. First game. Just outside the box, upper 90. Give it to me, man. That'd be so crazy. The world is watching the 17-year-old breakout. That'd be absolutely crazy, dude. Trying to manifest that, man. But the podcast name is No Era Penal. part of the reason I wanted to name it this podcast was because of you. I remember. Do you remember the Nora Penal game? I remember that vividly.
Karina's.
It was Karina's. Oh, we had a Sweet 15 for the Nora Penal game, right, against the Netherlands that day. I don't know. It was just bad timing. So my cousin's Sweet 15 came up, and
watching the game, getting dressed and stuff. Girls are putting makeup on, doing their hair. Cameras are rolling around, and then in the background it's just Mexico Netherlands game.
All of us are watching. And obviously, Gio scores the first goal. We're feeling that hype. We're all excited. And then it just went all downhill from there. Robin Van Persie, they score a goal, then they get the penalty, and the rest is history, right? One way again, the quinto partido looms. But I remember after that, you were little. I don't know how old exactly you were.
I was young.
And you were crying. I remember you were crying. They couldn't stop you from crying or something. And after that, we all had to go to church, right? And
crying in church.
Yeah, like I can see it, and like everybody's so down. Even I think the priest mentioned something. Like he said something about the game, and they're like, what the hell? We're here for this exciting moment. My cousin's Sweet 15, and you just feel like the air sucked out of the room, just like. Yeah,
like,
bro. And then what doesn't help is we go to the party. I guess we get drinks flowing, so then it starts to change pace a little bit. But then I remember the freaking DJ mentions it. He says something about the game, right? He's like, "Oh, we're gonna have a good time tonight. I know Mexico lost or some shit." And like I feel it. I'm just like, bro.
Yeah,
bro. It's just I don't want to compare it to anything, but like it's just one of those days where like say somebody died or something, and you just feel like just down.
You don't know what to do. Like, you don't know what the next step in life is after that.
That's 100% how it was, bro. It's just that was funny as hell. So this is the No Era Penal podcast featuring me, Peck, and my cousin Alan for this one. I hope I can get you on more episodes. I'm gonna try to get more guests on for us too. Potentially in the future, but I feel like we just had to get this first podcast out, talk about all the chaos that is surrounding the Mexican national team right now. I'll leave you with Javier Aguirre saying, he's excited. This is the start of the World Cup for him, right? Only him, Uzbekistan, and Australia started their camp. Take that as you will. But yeah, any last words for the people, Alan?
I mean, what is there to say? Let's keep our heads up and let's hope for the best. I mean, can't say nothing else.
Let's hope more positive news comes and we call the right players up and we get, let's manifest Mercer Ruiz getting his leg friggin' partial ACL tear back. And this was the No Era Penal podcast. Again, the last thing I also wanted to say, I forgot, is Discord. We launched a Discord. I actually got to invite you, Alan. We're going to drop bets in there. Just talk all things Mexico, talk all things World Cup. You don't have to be a Mexico fan to join. I'm going to have channels in there for everybody. So if you like what you see, please join the Discord. I'll put the link in the video description below. So this was the No Era Penal podcast with pak777 and my cousin Alan today. Thanks for watching.
pak777, real takes, no filter, Jets, L3, fantasy cakes. Let's get into it.